Hello, this is Ashlyn Hunley and Abby Jarman from Linton-Stockton Student Press with Mr. Nathan Moore and Ms. Alicia Cornelius. Thank you for speaking with us today.
Thanks for having us.
me. Thank you.
No problem. Come over here. Thank you.
Why did you decide to take this position at Linton?
I was looking for an opportunity to advance in my career, and Linton looked like a great place to be. I'm excited to be here.
What are the differences between working in high school versus elementary administration?
Well, obviously you have the ages of the students, quite a bit different, but it's amazing the number of similarities that are between. You're still dealing with parents, with teachers, and with students in general. So I hope that answers.
And for both of you, what made you go into education? We'll start with you.
Well, I think that everybody goes into education because they love kids and they want to make an influence on their life. And it's not about reaching every single kid. It's about even reaching just the one that nobody else can get to. And that, for me, is what's so great about education.
Both my parents were teachers, and I kind of grew up in that educational world, seeing that, and I have aunts and uncles, and I had that favorite, that one teacher, that really made a difference, and you thought, that's just a great thing. And like Mrs. Cornelius said, it's a lot about finding the students who you can try to make a difference, and that's rewarding to do that.
What are your goals as principal for Linton-Stockton High School?
Well, Linton already has a lot of great goals that Mr. Moore had started, and even Mr. Carzia before him, and I would love to continue those. Academics is huge, but not just the academics, it's the social side of things and kids learning how to function in the real world, and you get those social interactions with your peers and participating in athletics and clubs and all the extracurricular things. So I have a lot of goals, and it's just for people to leave here being successful and having a sense of belonging in the world.
How did your many years of experience in the Air Force Reserve help you with your jobs in education?
Oh, good question. I hope that as I talk with students, I know when I spoke with students in the high school, a lot of times they would ask me about the military, and I know for a lot of students the military is a great opportunity, and so I hope that I was able to share that information, encourage other students to take maybe that same path. And a lot of the core values, integrity first, service, excellence in all you do, and service before self, those kind of things, those good core values, hopefully can instill those across this career as well.
What opportunities are you most excited for with your new jobs?
Well, besides just building a career, I'm excited to meet people. I love meeting new people, and students, adults, and I want my kids to have that experience too, where they know a little. Rather than growing up in one place your entire life, which is great too, I want my kids to see the differences in different places. And we come from a place that's a little bit smaller than here, but not a lot. But still, meeting new people, I think, is one thing that I'm the most excited about.
A lot of it, working with students again, at a different age, and it's exciting to work with a lot of staff that I had relationships with before, and so it was nice to come back and kind of reinstate those again, so it was great working at the high school, but now it's going back and it's just a different age, kind of refreshing, something a little bit different.
What were your previous jobs involving education?
Prior to coming to Linton, I was at Pike Central for 10 years. I was the assistant principal there for 3, and then I taught math prior to that. My very first teaching job was in Nashville, Tennessee, where I taught math there.
What are your ways of keeping the school and students involved with the community?
Involved with the community? At the high school, of course, we had a lot of clubs and things of that nature, but as far as at the elementary, one of the things we're trying to do is parent-teacher, PTO, getting them involved. Community, of course, parents are all community members, and so getting to know a lot of the parents and grandparents and people, bus duty in the morning. We got 700 elementary students, and all the hundreds of kids that come in I wave to every morning, so trying to make those connections with them and knowing, hey, the school is a safe place and it's a good place to be, and they see you and they connect you to the school, and then when they see you out and about in the community at Walmart or the store, they're like, hey, I know you from school, and so you could make a connection there.
Yeah, I'm going to echo what Mr. Moore had said. All those communication pieces are ways to stay involved with the community and, conversing back and forth through email or phone calls, and not just calling and letting people know what's going on, that we need to do to help with kids, but also to give them the positives about the great things that they're doing. you can get the community involved through sports and things like that. But I think that the best way to get involvement is to model that. And for myself and for you guys to all be involved with the school, that models that importance for the community as well.
How do you feel about returning to your previous job as assistant principal for the elementary?
Oh, I think it's a great opportunity. I'm hoping that my years of different experiences that I've had will help me become a better at what I do now, because as I talk with people, maybe I can relate to different age groups and different levels, and share those experiences, with conferences and meeting with parents and grandparents and students, and say, okay, well, this is what's going to be like down the road. When you get to high school, these are going to be some of your expectations, and so they can give credence to some of that. You're like, well, maybe he knows what he's talking about because he did that for a while. So,
What have you learned so far being involved with education?
I think one of the most important things that you can learn, not just as an educator and working in the school, but also for students, is you see kids of all different backgrounds, and you never truly know exactly what people are dealing with outside of the school. And sometimes the school is a safe place. And that is one of the most important lessons that I've learned in education, and I feel like one that I try to teach to kids of all ages, my own kids that are in elementary school, and then you guys in high school, is to always look at the bigger picture. There's more to life than just what goes on inside this building, and I think that's what we can all learn being here, whether you're in my role or a teaching role or in your role as a student.
What is something that you hope you left behind as a principal here?
something left behind. Hopefully a good legacy, maybe some procedures that are set in place, some expectations for students so they know when they come into high school what they expect. You know, school is a safe place. You know, it's at this place we certain things are allowed, not allowed, because it's a safe place to be, and it's a place where students can come to learn and to without fear of getting into any other problems. They can just enjoy it and learn in the best way possible.
So for both of you, how does having children yourselves help you with working with students on a daily basis?
Well, one thing I say is I would never want to hold any student to a standard that I wouldn't anticipate holding my own to. So I think having kids and you know what you want them to be able to do or what you don't want them to get away with, all of that plays into being able to deal with kids of all age. Mine are a lot younger, obviously, in elementary. But I still look to high school and what I want my kids to do as they grow up and look into their future.
Well, it was a great opportunity. I had two students, two of my own children that have graduated from here while I was principal, and so that was a fantastic opportunity. And because I always, you know, the conversations at home, you know, they didn't get away with much because, you know their friends, you know what's going on, and so it was a great opportunity. But as an educator and talking to other people, I like what Mrs. Cornelius said about your expectation is not more than what you would expect your own children to do. So I think that's important to get that in there. And as a parent, you see things a little differently. So it's nice to be able to put both those whenever you make decisions. Okay, now as a parent, how would this come across? And so I think that's always been real helpful.
What do you feel makes you different than other principals?
I don't know that I would necessarily say I'm different. I think that again, in education, we all share a common goal. Just being new here, what I've seen so far is that Mr. Moore and I probably share a lot of the same thoughts and views for you guys. And also, Mr. Kerzia, you know, prior to Mr. Moore, I think we all kind of share the same thing. So I wouldn't say that there's something that jumps out and makes me different other than the fact that I'm a female.
If you had to give any advice to our newest principal, Ms. Cornelius, what would it be?
One day at a time. Smile and use the people around you, because you've got a lot of great people around you, for their input and their expertise. And, you know, surround yourself with great people, which you already have, and just, you know, work together as a team and, you know, to make this the best school possible.
This was Abby Jarman and Ashlyn Hunley with Linton-Stockton Student Press. Thank you, Mr. Moore and Ms. Cornelius, for speaking with us. I'm going to shake your hands again.
Yes. Thank you for having me.